that it needs to fix the living standard problem every household is dealing with.
Brandon Clarke-Smith.
Deputy Speaker, I did expect in this budget to spend longer talking about corporation tax, and I find myself today not talking about it that much at all, in the sense that I think we'd all like to see it lower. We look at the rates elsewhere as a long-term ambition, but I think there's been lots of really good stuff in this budget to offset that. I think particularly looking at some of the tax relief for R&D, as we've heard today, and I would say small and medium-sized enterprises getting that £27 from HMRC for every £100 there for R&D investment is a real excellent policy. And in Bassetlaw, we very much feel that certainly locally we've got a great chance to become that superpower that we heard recently, because Bassetlaw will be the home of the Step Fusion project, something we're incredibly proud of, and in terms of our future energy generation is something that I think we can take out to the world. So we have the world's first commercial Step Fusion energy plant, which is going to be built the home of what was one of our last coal-fired power stations. So it's very much kind of changing from old technology to a new there, but it's the billions this will generate, it's the growth, it's the jobs, it's the apprentices that we're going to get as we go from fossil to fusion there.
Will my honourable friend allow me?
I will give way. Yes.
And it's 5 miles from the town of Gainsborough.
Yes, I thank my right honourable friend for his intervention there, and yes, of course, and Gainsborough, a very important town to us locally, one that fits within our local economy, and I'm sure this project will also benefit right honourable gentleman's town as well. I know he's very passionate about this subject, and I know at the moment he's campaigning for further involvement and recognition for his constituency with this. I would also, I think, in terms of investment zones, the East Midlands, we know that we're going to get one of these. I think this would be an excellent site for one. My honourable friend for Don Valley is here. He's been campaigning every single day for the last 6 months, at least, for Doncaster Sheffield Airport, another zone that would be great, really, for an investment zone. And as our neighbours, of course, these will all work together for growth in our regions. You know, we don't just draw a line where our regions are, we actually work, we interact, and Yorkshire is incredibly important to us as well. Just last week I visited in Worksop, Europe's largest concrete facility for Open Doors Week with Lang O'Rourke. There's a centre of excellence there for modern construction. They make precast components there. They're actually manufacturing a lot of the parts for Everton FC's new stadium there. So I was making a few jokes about probably the best ground in the Championship next season, but I think there's a lot of competition in the Premier League right now, and I think I'll probably stick to Notts County jokes rather than the Premier League before I upset anybody else. But also, there's a 28 million privately funded carbon capture and power generation plant in Rhodesia in my constituency. And these are companies that want to invest in this country because of this Conservative government, which is pro-growth and pro-business. And to top it off, really, the real icing on the cake for Bassetlaw was to find out about the Levelling Up partnership that we're going to be part of. And this is worth £400 million for 20 different places in this country. We're very proud that we're going to be one of those. We've had £20 million announced for Worksop Town Centre, which is going to be transformative as we move more from retail to leisure and get people going back into our town centres and a bit of pride back into our town centre. But also this partnership helps other towns that missed out, maybe been neglected by our Labour Council, like Retford. And there's lots to be done in Retford as well. We have great links on the East Coast Main Line. It's a wonderful town with lots of great facilities, great people there, and the drive is there to go forward and, again, to grow. But also, I think, with this budget, how does it affect average everyday person? We talk about these huge figures, about millions and billions all the time, but for me, the budget, it comes down to those individuals and their families and what we are going to do for them. And certainly, in terms of what our blue-collar offering is, I think there's quite a lot here that I think that we can be very, very pleased with. And as a former Children's Minister, the childcare proposals which we've outlined, I think can be absolutely transformative. So we allow from 9 months on, and it really helps parents. I've had parents who say they would like it to happen straight away. I think we all realise that there are capacity issues and the sector is going to need some time to adapt to that, of course. And with ratios, I know there's an argument there. Some people like them, some don't. But certainly from my time, it's as much about flexibility for those nurseries than it is about money. I'll give an example. Myself, I took my young child along to a nursery, and many parents had to wait because a member of staff was stuck in traffic, and I think there was one child over the ratio level, and we had to wait until they got there. So it's that kind of flexibility that we're giving people, and of course it is optional, and that is great. Also, the freeze on fuel duty. Really, really great for working people. What is not so great are the ultra-low emission zones that many people are having to drive through and pay exorbitant amounts of money just to drop their children off at school. Well, it is a tax on the white van man, very much so. If you want to go into Sheffield, you're going to be charged. People think this is just London. It is not. This is something that penalises working people. I see our honourable friends mention Manchester as well. I know people are very concerned about that. This is something we need to stop. We should not be taxing people to go to work. And finally, energy prepayment meters. And this is something else that people will be really pleased with. We've given a huge amount of support for people's energy bills, but we all know that those on meters, sometimes the most vulnerable in our society, those who struggle the most, are paying a penalty. And I think it's absolutely right that we've done something to change that. So, again, with all budgets, a lot of people like to use the word but. I prefer to use the word and. They're like things that we would like to see in the future, because I think this is a good budget. There's lots of good stuff there. It's a great budget for Bassetlaw, and I commend it, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Mary Glendon.